Tarkov is an incredibly challenging game, the highest of highs while slaughtering other players, to the lowest of lows in gunfights leaving you cracking under pressure like an Ocean Gate submarine. Here we have the definitive beginner's guide to being a Timmy in Tarkov. Now, you may find yourself wondering, what the hell even is Tarkov? Effectively, Tarkov at its core is an extraction, looter-shooter, focused on hyper-realism, weapon mechanics, shooting, and various other things. Effectively, the premise is simple. You load into what's called a raid, you loot various items in the raid, you kill other players, and then you attempt to extract at one of the given extraction points. You can tap O, which is the default key binding, to view your extraction points. The timer in the upper right-hand corner denotes how much time you have to leave the raid. If you are still in the raid when the time expires, you are missing an action, and you lose everything that is on your PMC's body. If you escape the raid in that time frame without dying, then you get to keep everything that you have looted in that raid. If you kill an enemy player and you take all of his gear, he also loses all of his gear. To get started installing the game, step 1 is simply go to Google, look for Battle State Games, in which you will find the official Tarkov page. From here, you will just simply go create an account within registration. After creating a new account and signing in, head over to the Profile tab in order to install the binary. Now, Tarkov is not the most optimized game. Indeed, even higher-end PCs fail to play the game effectively with high frame rates. Given this, here is a basic introduction to the graphical settings that work for me to get maximum frames. Of course, this is not one size fits all, but this works the best for myself currently. As you can see here, texture quality medium, shadow quality low, LOD 2.5, overall visibility 1500, anti-aliasing off, resampling 1x off, DLSS off, FSR off, though that may work for you if you have an AMD chip, HBAO off, SSR off, anisotropic filtering off, NVIDIA reflex latency on, and a sharpness of 0.5 with FPS of max, every other box unchecked. Another critical thing here is the post-effects settings. I use 2 different post-effects settings, one for nighttime raids, one for daytime raids. This is my post-effects for daytime that seems to give me max visibility. If you're losing a few frames, you can always disable this. Here is an example of the post-effects during nighttime raids. Now, when it comes to Tarkov, there are 2 main factions to play as. You will have Scavs. Now, Scavs I highly recommend to run as frequently as often as you can when you're first starting the game. Scavs, effectively, are a faction that fight the PMCs, that scav around the map, collect any loot they can, and then attempt to extract. The same rules apply as a PMC. If you die, you lose everything. However, there's nothing tied to your scav. You'll randomly get a scav generated every 15 to 20 minutes that you can scav in as and utilize to gather loot and learn the maps, which is definitely one of the most important things in Tarkov, map knowledge. Your PMC is your main character. They are primary USEC operator or bear operator that you'll utilize while playing Tarkov. The key element to surviving in Tarkov is healing. Now, the selection may be slightly overwhelming at first, but after you break down each individualistic piece, it's not too bad. As you can see here, I have 1 broken leg, I've lost that leg, and a few other damages to my body. To repair a blacked out limb, you can use either the Serv 12 or the CMS kit. There's a slight difference in use time between the 2 of them, and the amount of HP regeneration they provide. The use time on the CMS is a little bit faster, but provides less HP to the limb. In this case, we're using the Serv 12. to repair our left leg. A bleed icon on your PMC will look something like this, denoting the type of bleed you're experiencing. To cure a heavy bleed, you can use a Caloc B, hemostatic applicator. You can use an S-mark, tourniquet, or you can even use a generic healing item such as Lewa. Using the tourniquet here will remove the heavy bleed. In that case, if you have multiple blacked out limbs and injuries, you can apply a CMS kit and a Serve 12 to repair the limb, and then attempt to heal yourself back to full health using any combination of meds you see here. Alternatively, if you had a light bleed, you can also use a bandage, the 2 here denoting its number of usages, or generic bandage as well. Or you can also just use a Sliwa or Grizzly. You can see what each medical item does by right-clicking it and inspecting it. Here we see that it's got a light bleed stoppage at 45 HP and a heavy bleed at 175. That means the Sliwa must have 175 points or 45 to stop the 2 respective bleeds. The Grizzly will come in at removing a fracture at 50, light bleeds at 40, heavy at 130. You can see the individual stats for each health item just by going through the list and right-clicking them. Now we can also discuss injectors. There are many different injectors in Tarkov. We won't cover all of them here, but we'll go over a quick subset of injectors that I bring in almost every single raid. Here we have Propitol, which is a favorite of mine, used for health regeneration with very few adverse effects. ETGC is a more advanced health regenerative, however, it does carry some negative effects associated with it. SJ6 and the Mule can be used in conjunction with each other in order to modify both your stamina and your stamina recovery, and your overall weight limit. Thus, you can use these to get out of a raid if you're carrying a lot of gear and you can't move too effectively. Obildobos 2 is a good injector prior to fights, or when also trying to get out of raid with a lot of gear. Alternatively, Perfatora heals bleeds, though it does have some adverse effects with it. Trimbadol can be used for an array of different things, such as removal of concussions, increased attention spans, but it does hurt your energy and hydration levels. Morphine is just used for pain, and XDG-12, it removes toxins from one's body. Now, weapons, armor, and bullets can be a relatively complicated thing in Tarkov. As the game leans towards hyper-realism, there's a couple moving factors involved in each of those areas, such as which caliber to utilize with a weapon, which armor rating did you like to use, if your armor points are degraded, how may you select the best armor for you to utilize in a raid, what might be a good gun choice for you. All these things do combine into choices you have to make while playing Tarkov. I'm going to link a few items in the description below related to where you can look up armor and some other various things. Aside from that, I'll insert here a combination of formulas you can use when attempting to derive the possibility of armor penetration, i.e. bullets penetrating your armor, and what rig may work best for you after they're degraded. Effectively, armor will degrade anytime a bullet hits the armor. The armor rating will slowly go down per each bullet, and the lower the armor points you have, the more possibility of a bullet penetrating the armor. Armor class also comes into play. The higher the classification rating, generally the better the armor. The material will denote how easy it is to repair the armor itself, and how effective it is at stopping bullets, i.e. metal plating and Kevlar may be better than combined materials. Here you have the formula for bullet penetration. Now, it may be a little nonsensical at first, but after we break this one down, it may make more sense to you. Here, we're effectively stating that PP is the penetration value of the bullet, PA is the armor class rating, divided by AD, which is your armor durability, multiplied by your durability coefficient. Small formula here can assist in deriving the likelihood of a bullet penetrating your armor. Now, looking at an actual bullet in the game, you can take a gander at the velocity, the caliber, the misfire chance, some failure ratings, burn, and heat, which all come into play as they degrade your weapon over time. In the description, I've also linked a good roster to determine the penetration value of each individualistic round, which you can use in the formula we presented prior. Taking a gander here, we can see a simple breakdown as to the penetration value of the unique round and what that may really mean. If you take a look at the pen value of a certain round in the game, you can see really how effective it may be against armor ratings. Now, weapons in Tarkov also have a durability. The durability is going to degrade based on some of the factors that you saw in the previous slides. For each weapon, you're going to have the caliber and the ability to repair the individualistic weapon. You can do so by right-clicking on the weapon, going to repair. In this case, you can use either a weapon repair kit or use one of the various traders that you have available to you. Keep in mind, the weapon repair kit will allow you to upgrade some skills. The skill in question here is weapon maintenance. If you get the weapon maintenance skill all the way to the highest level, you will be able to then add weapon enhancements, which allow you to upgrade your weapon beyond their normal levels, giving it a gold background. There are many other skills in the tree. I would recommend taking a gander at them to determine what you may want to work on and how you can work on the skill. We won't cover them all here. Definitely take a further look. A quick note regarding the durability of a weapon: always try and keep the weapon above 92 points for durability, else you generally risk the weapon jamming. Now, there are 3 remaining items that I would recommend you kind of understand before getting along in Tarkov. We're going to cover these 3 quickly, and we're going to start at the top with traders. Now, traders are effectively a group of individuals, 8 in count, who you can utilize in the game to buy and sell items from. Each trader is going to have a buy, sell, and tasks pane. Tasks is where you can go to acquire a task from the trader. The trader will give you selected rewards for completing the task, and you can choose to perform the task or not, depending on if you desire. Buying is pretty clear there. You can buy items from the trader, or you can sell items to the trader. Each trader will have specific things that they can buy and sell, such as Ragman with armor, and Therapist with meds, and Prapor with guns and ammo. I recommend taking a gander and getting familiar with each trader as you go along in the game. Some traders will not be unlocked until you perform certain missions, so keep that in mind. Next, we have what's called the Flea Market. Now, this is a highly crucial part of the game, which you will not unlock until you hit level 15. However, upon hitting level 15, you get access to a market, which is a real-world trading market, where you can put up items for sale, buy items from other players, and utilize it to gain funds rapidly. I definitely recommend checking out the flea market and getting a feel for how it works after you hit level 15. And the final item we have here today is the Hideout. Now, the Hideout is a special addition to the game, which gives you a unique little sector that you can go into and build out certain things in order to assist you in playing Tarkov. They have anything from nutrition units to laboratories, stashes, to even a Bitcoin farm. Now, I would recommend starting building the Hideout as early as possible. There's many different moving pieces here. I won't cover them all. However, I will say some of the best things you can attempt to do first is get a rest space up to level 3, nutrition units to level 3, and a med station to kind of get you started. Rest base will allow you to get 110% energy on your PMC, allowing you to stay in raids longer without having to eat or drink. Additionally, I would also ensure that you build out your workbench as early as possible. The workbench is mandatory in order for you to modify your weapons in-game. In case you are questioning, you do indeed need to consume food and resources to keep your water and energy levels up in order to survive. If either of those run out, you may face death or be unable to sprint or move effectively. The very last item we're going to cover in Escape from Tarkov is, luckily, the most basic, which is going to be your maps. When you go to select a map in Escape from Tarkov, you're going to have around 7 options to choose from, the most recently added being Streets of Tarkov. Now, I will warn you, the ratings on each map is completely arbitrary. They mean absolutely nothing. Each map has its own challenges and its own unique element to it, with its own extractions and its own loot. I would go for and state Choose any map that you desire and become really good at that map. Focus entirely on it, scav on that map, and PMC on it to learn the extracts, the loot, and have somewhere that you know. Map knowledge is fairly key in this game. I would implore you to partake in such an action. To do a quick breakdown of the maps, the minute counter is how long in raid you will have on that map. This is the difficulty rating, ignore that completely, and here you have the allotment of humans who will appear on the map for each raid, a maximum of 12 and a minimum of 9. Other than that, that is a quick bonus section for maps for you. That is a very base primer, getting started as a Timmy in Escape from Tarkov. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and check us out on Twitch, where we're streaming almost every single day.